All right, well, we're going to be going into Heir to the Jedi,
Heir to the Jedi.
a book that takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but a little closer to A New Hope. This very much, Aaron, was a book that featured the Episode 4, A New Hope, Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And most interesting, I think this is the first time we've covered it. I'm not sure if you have. Have you ever read a first-person book before?
First-person book before?
Yeah. So this was this was coming as if it was Luke himself.
Sure. We
telling
didn't really
the
jump
story.
to anyone else or anything.
Yeah.
It was all kind of Luke's perspective of things, talking about what he's seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
Like, I don't think we've done it on the channel.
Mace Windu wasn't first person, right?
No, The Glass Abyss. Shatterpoint had like a couple sections that were first person, but I think it's our first full first person canon novel. Nexus says. I remember one of my favorite EU books, I, Jedi, was first person, and that was Kevin Hearne in Luke's New Jedi Order.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was I remember that. I remember I really liked it there. This one, how did you feel about it? About Heir to the Jedi.
I think it was fine. Like, there was some stuff I liked in it.
Yeah.
But, like, overall, some of the stuff it did, I don't think added to too much over other. Like, there's a few things that I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But I think there's been other books that we've read where I'm like, oh man, this really helps to add to like this movie or this or that. But there's some things I really like in this. I kind of like him, his progression, like messing with the Force, not knowing what to do, like trying
noodling around with the Force.
the noodling
got some
and
noodles.
forking things up, and
Yep.
you know, just like trying a Jedi mind trick and things like that. Because as of the movies, without anything in between, you have he trusts the Force, Luke, and he shoots the Death Star, blows it up, and okay, well, he used the Force there. And then the next thing you see is we're on Hoth, and he pulls a lightsaber. You know,
Yeah.
so you don't ever see anything in between. And here he moves a noodle a little bit, and I was like, well, that's cool. I like to see that he's like, he must have messed around a little bit, not just like, oh man, what am I gonna do, Wampa here? You know what? There's something called the Force. Let me just, please, Saber, please. You know, like,
Yeah, it very much feels like a Luke Skywalker desperate for a mentor, and because he doesn't have one, he kind of has to just figure stuff out a little bit and grow that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he also kind of does it a little bit with some support of like this new supporting character, which this morning I looked in. We have a chat. And Nexus sometimes will be like, hey, here's a picture of someone from the book so that you can do. And I looked and I was like, oh, hey, that's what she looks like. And then I was like, oh, no wonder. I was like, I get it.
You get it, huh? Yeah. No, I actually had seen that before I even started the book when Nexus sent it. So I had that picture in my head as we were picturing
Nakari?
Nakari
That's
Khalid.
it. Nakari.
Yeah. You know, this book, I kind of agree. I was just kind of, it's okay. Like, it didn't blow me away. I wasn't like bored or anything, but it did what it needed to do, which was entertain me for a couple hours a day during our week off while I did some yard work, and I enjoyed it for that. But it's probably not something I'm ever gonna put on a list of like my top Luke Skywalker moments or anything like that.
Sure,
you
yeah.
know?
No, I don't. It was there was some moments I liked of the connections they had. There was a video game-esque moment, I thought, where he is flying from point A to point B, and on the way, he's like, hey, look, this ship's in trouble. Oh, man, they're TIE fighters. Well, hey, if the TIE fighters don't like him, then I'm probably okay with them.
Yeah.
And he helps them, and then later on, it comes back where it's like, hey, didn't you help this ship? That was my son. Here. You know? Like, it was like, hey,
Sure,
you
I
do
get
this
that.
random side quest, and
Yeah.
it kind of pays off later on. And I thought that was kind of like a neat little like connection between versus just showing Luke being good, but also having some kind of extra payoff later on.
Sure.
But as far as like Luke's mindset and everything in this, I thought some of that was interesting. Getting to like hear his inner thoughts, his turmoil, his what he understands the Force to be now, and what he, you know, looking into wanting to be a Jedi. Some people they're much quieter about it because they don't want to talk about it. But some other people are like, oh, hey, Jedi, yeah, sure. You know, you take the lightsaber. You know, like there's some people that are a little bit more supportive of it. And I like that he's trying to find his place in this galaxy with the knowledge of his ancestry, I guess, you know? So
No, I get you. It's the thing about like first person stories like this where it's like you're primarily only looking at it from this point of view. You know, in third-person stories, you can get glimpses into characters' minds, but you can do it with any character or all characters. The author is a little more omnipresent in that sense, which I feel like maybe matches the Star Wars feel a bit more, whereas here this felt a little bit more intimate of a story being told. So yeah, definitely smaller in scope and introspective of the character.
And it gives him another love interest that isn't Leia.
Yeah.
Because we had that one kiss already, and we're like,
yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't go too far, like in the in-between times or nothing. You know?
No, I when I was reading the book, I kept getting these senses of like, why does this feel like an old EU continuity book?
Did it?
I
don't know a lot of EU books.
One of the tropes of the old EU is like Luke has, up until, you know, Mara Jade obviously was the big one, but there would always be like, and we'll throw in a love interest for Luke, and then they're gone by the end of the thing, you know? And that held true with this. Another thing is I kept recognizing a couple of the settings and stuff and going like, man, this stuff really feels like the old EU, because the old EU would always reference the what were they called? The tabletop RPG books back in the day. Like I would buy those books just to learn about Star Wars. But authors and publishers would also refer to them because they were the easiest way to get all the details.
Sure,
you know?
Get an idea of an alien or something and what to put in your book, or a planet that you want to go to.
And while the new canon will sometimes go back and recanonize that stuff, this one really felt like, oh wow, it really is doing that. And it was later, after I finished the book, and we talked about it earlier today, that I learned that this was actually made to be in the old EU canon, and then it's actually the third released book since the Disney era.
Third release since the Disney era? Okay.
So in 2014, and then there was A New Dawn, I think, was the first one. I can't remember what the second one was, and then Heir to the Jedi released third.
Something I had looked into was that this was also
Tarkin was second.
Oh, Tarkin. Yeah. The Legends books, this was also the third of like a trilogy of like Rebellion, but they weren't like super connected together. They were kind of like like a loose trilogy or anthology kind of stories. But those two are in Legends, and then this one is in canon.
Yeah. From what I understand, the story group or whatever, had some notes, and they altered some things so that it could fit into the new continuity. But like I said, I kept getting these like feelings of like, that's kind of like the old EU. You don't really see that in new canon, but it's because of that.
Yeah.
I think Tarkin was kind of the same as that as well.
Was it being worked on as Legends at first and then turned into canon?
Yeah.
The other thing I liked a lot on this about Luke was the end of the book. There was a moment of him talking about grief and not being able to let it hit. Like he talked about having like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and then like they just kind of went, like gotta go save the princess, and then he lost Obi-Wan, and then it was like, okay, we gotta escape, and then we fight our way off, and then you get to the Battle of Yavin, and then like from there he started, Biggs. He lost Biggs there. He started doing other missions and stuff
Porkins,
too. Yeah, sure. Porkins. Yeah, that was. But he has a moment where he loses someone here, and he he has a moment to not have to hurry.
Yeah.
And everything kind of catches up to him, and he lets himself like just mourn for a minute.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that one was interesting because like we don't get that in the movies at any point.
We don't have time.
The most we get is when he runs up and you see the skeleton, he's just kind of like staring, and then like he drives back and he's like, "There's nothing left for me here." Like there's not a lot of mourning.
Not a lot of.
He's down.
Yeah, you get a little bit of like, Leia puts the cover over him, and he's like, I can't believe Ben's gone. He's sad, and Leia's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I just lost billions of my people. But
my planet.
That old
gone.
guy you knew for 2 weeks. Yeah, it sucks.
and then you get hey, we're not out of this yet. Hurry up and grab a gun.
And then you have to just go.
And there's
I got one.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of time with that, but I did enjoy that aspect of it.
Sure.
But I also, I kind of like Nakari. I got a chance to kind of re-listen. I got about halfway through again on my second listen.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I remember listening in the beginning when you first meet her, like she's showing you the ship. That's really awesome.
Yep, the Desert Jewel.
Yeah, it's like a big crescent. Has like nice. It's just a nice looking ship.
It's a yacht. Yeah,
but it's also got like speed behind it where it can like outrun some stuff. but she had a thing she said where talking about like what weapon she uses or something like that, and she talks about like back to crate dragon, and I was like, yeah, right. What do you mean? I was like, what do you mean you back? Like, did your daddy get you a crate dragon or something?
It was
like,
only 4 weeks old, but I got it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But then,
it's a slug thrower that she uses.
yeah,
right? Yeah.
But then by the end of the book, and like so many times of like her sniping and stuff and taking people out, I'm like, you know what? She's pretty good. Maybe she did get that crate dragon. Maybe she was. Because the first time I hearing that, I was thinking about Mandalorian, and I was like, that thing is big, man. What do you mean? But yeah, like,
even the one in
little ones
KOTOR
or something, you know,
pretty big stuff.
Yeah, they're all usually pretty big. So I was kind of like, did you? But now I believed it after going through the whole book.
Yeah. Well, maybe the crate dragon in Mando was like an exceptionally giant one.
Maybe.
You know,
this is the smaller one or something like that. That's possible.
Okay.
Some crate dragons are smaller than others. Yeah, I could see that. Like, it's, you know, any animal. There's some animals like, man, that's a big whatever. It's alpha Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, right. I did like them like kind of bonding over the fact they're both from desert planets.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? I was a moisture farmer. It was boring.
Yeah.
They did have is it a Legends thing where like every once in a while, like, what is it? Like, oh man, I always look forward to whenever I had to go to the Tashi station to pick up
endless
power converters. Oh, you know, and he's like sad thinking about like, I never picked up my last shipment.
Yeah,
and I was like,
funny that he's
all right.
forgot. Yeah.
But
no, a constant references to the things you know.
Okay.
Which kind of, this one has like, I'm Luke Skywalker. Yeah, that Luke Skywalker. They blew up the Death Star, you know, like. But I mean, he's gonna be braggadocious a little bit as a young.
I mean,
man,
that's a big deal anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Like, look what you did.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I did like. I thought they were gonna stick around a little bit more. I kind of like the skull borers.
Yeah, those were pretty cool. Eat your brains.
Yeah, we go to a planet and we first noticed them from a video that like Nakari's dad, I think it is, that shows, because you guys got to go on this mission, you got to go do this, and here's this video so you can know what you're doing.
Fayette was his name.
Fayette
Kaleen.
And they the video is like first person like helmet cams or something like that, and you see a soldier like wiggle, and then he just starts like freaking out, and we learn that there's like these camouflage / invisible kind of cloaked creatures, like it made me think like drop bears, right? You know the drop bears in Australia, because they're definitely real.
Yep, 100% real.
100% real. Australia's a scary place. They're definitely real things. They're not. But the idea of these things dropping from like the trees and landing on their victims, they have like porcupines like things, so you can't just touch them or you'll bleed, and they bust into your skull and suck out your brains. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like this is awesome. It's like a scary thing.
It's very scary.
And I was like, man, you don't get a lot of horror in Star Wars sometimes. That's why I was so excited to do like Death Troopers and stuff. And I'm like, dude, these are cool things. And it went on, like that scene was kind of scary, and then we had a little bit of it with Luke and Nakari. Not too much though. I was kind of hoping to have more of that. I
felt the same. I got to that point, like, all right, we're kind of like kicking off now. All right, hell yeah, and then it kind of slowed back down.
And then they talked about how smart they were, and like one jumped on top of another one so that you couldn't stun the one that was trying to get your brains and stuff.
Do you think they get smarter the more brains they eat?
Maybe,
because brains are where your smarts are.
Yeah,
which is a really smart statement.
And depending what kind of creature's brains you eat, right? Like if you get like a squirrel's brains or something, it might not be as much as if you get like a human's brains or I don't know. Is there like a smart Star Wars alien?
What Gabriel Poof is smart because he has 2 brains.
What are the one guys in this that are like you greet them with math problems?
Oh yeah, the Given.
The Given?
Given. Yeah.
Like,
do you know what a Given is?
No.
How do I describe it? It's like the Beetlejuice alien from A New Hope. Do you remember?
Do you remember what they look like? Alien.
Yeah, let me.
From A New Hope.
Yeah, but Gonk might be able to find an image too.
Squirrels catching strays. Did you say something about squirrels earlier?
Nexus immediately sent one.
A Given?
But yeah, they look like this. They're like kind of like droopy skulls.
This is kind of creepy.
That's what a Given looks like.
Okay.
Absolutely. So
that's in A New Hope?
Really, it's somewhere. I'm pretty sure, guys. There's a Given live action, right? I thought so. I mean, I recognize the species.
I don't know what this is from, but I found this.
Yeah,
is that from A New Hope?
From A New Hope, yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those.
That's a creepy looking thing.
It's one of those masks that they kind of had on the shelf when they're like,
I
hey.
get why you say Beetlejuice now. I was thinking of Beetlejuice, not. Yes.
No, I mean like when they're doing
This
the
thing.
Oh, thank you, Gonk. Yeah, when they're doing
When they
like their-
stretch out their
yeah.
nose and.
It's So when I'm thinking of a given in my head, I'm going like the Beetlejuice alien. There we go. That's what they
Okay.
look like.
Yeah, so you see these weird skull creatures
And then immediately
and go like, what's the matrices of
yeah, you gotta do math. Oh,
1 squared,
I would-
3,
I would
7?
run from these guys.
I love the time whenever they say something to Luke and he's like, 3?
Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
the givens when they greet each other, they do so with math problems.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
not
Yeah.
a lot of math in Star Wars. Trying to
No.
think times when like math is being done.
Have we had salt and pepper before? Is that a Star Wars thing? Because in this book, I don't know why I thought it was weird, but it's not necessarily weird.
Yeah,
But they had the noodle thing when they were getting the Rancor sauce, like in that
the
that
Rancor
time.
sauce. Yeah,
They like go to a table and they're like, "Hey, you mind if we sit with you?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, it's okay. We're leaving. We're done." He's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, this table has a lot of salt and pepper."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Salt and pepper, is that common for them?"
Well, I was going to look it up, but 100% they have salt because that's in The Last Jedi. Salt. So, yes, it's in a movie.
True. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, what is that? Crate?
Great. Yeah.
Crate.
Last Jedi.
Crate has salt, and then does any pepper show up in Star Wars? I immediately think of things like the dinner that Vader has Han and Leia come to. Was there pepper in that? I can't think of any. Anakin and Padme have a dinner on Naboo, and I'm pretty sure there might be some salt and pepper shakers there.
See, but my thing is always like, okay,
Mhm.
there are shakers of spices,
Yeah.
but are they salt and pepper? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
One is definitely salt.
It's like how, like, I guess the reason it's called salt or pepper
Yeah.
was kind of weird to me when you have like, I mean, you have milk, I guess, but blue milk. You have calf, right? Not
have calf.
coffee, but calf,
Calf.
right? Like, it's the same idea, but a different name. And I just expected it to be like that, I guess, where it's like, oh, we got salt and peps. I don't know. Like,
This just says Pepper first canonically appears in the 2015 novel Heir to the Jedi.
oh, really?
Pepper was
Okay.
first mentioned in a Shadows of the Empire source book
Hey, you were talking about Shadows of the Empire
published
earlier.
by West End Games. So yeah, there's like some instances of people saying pepper, though they're including just peppers, not just
Peppers.
like black ground pepper
Gotcha.
or something.
Next it
And-
says Pepper appears in Light of the Jedi, Queen's Shadow, Queen's Hope, and
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor.
Sure, yeah, I have some of those on this list too, but again, the picture for this one is just like peppers as opposed to, but it might be, and he might be correct. I don't know,
Sure, yeah.
but yeah, I don't think any Star Wars dedicated channel has ever talked about this. So
Salt and pepper?
we are mavericks proving the facts about salt and pepper in Star Wars.
It was just one of those things where I was like, huh, I've never thought about that, you know? Like, they don't have chess, right? They have, I don't know, like that game that's on the Falcon, the Jarek?
the Jarek.
They have, like, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I always felt like, oh, it's similar to,
I
but
get
not
what you mean.
exactly, you know?
Like, they have, I think they're called Orbex in episode 9, like the weird horses that they put like prosthetics over and stuff to make look like aliens.
Yeah.
But then they also just have horses like pulling Padme's funeral in episode 3.
Yeah.
Just straight up
Like
horses.
big Clydesdale.
I think
things.
there's just some ducks in Naboo. What's that? Is that like a special species? No.
It's a space duck.
Wikipedia, duck. It is
Space duck.
quack. Yeah, space duck.
Space duck. Aaron's weird gray Japanese Yoda and Pepper. All these are getting noted
Oh,
as
yeah.
socials.
I did have my Darth Vader hot sauce. That would have been made from pepper.
Yeah. Okay. Darth Vader hot sauce was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys didn't see that. We had like a heat wave thing. It was
And
pretty cool.
Grease uses salt in Jedi
When he's just
First
shaking for a long
Fallen
time.
Order, just forever, you know? He's using salt there. I'm sure he has pepper in there as well.
Okay. Like I said before, I guess I never thought about them being salt unless they called it salt.
Yeah.
I would have just thought of like they could have called it anything, you know?
Whipster might have some salt and pepper too.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, that was just a thought I had whenever I was listening. That was the second time when I was going through and I got there again. I was like, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Huh.
Okay. They did reference I don't know, maybe this is because of Legends too, but they referenced about in the Rhodian stuff. I noted down about like talking about I think it was for Kenobi, talking about them like helping a kidnapped child, and I thought of Clone Wars.
Yeah. The little babies that Palpatine are taking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, whenever they were taking the future Force users and stuff like that too. And they mentioned that, and I thought of that for Clone Wars, and I was like, that's cool. But once again, that might be like that Legends. Let's make sure we acknowledge some different things and make it connect more or something. So
Sure, I get you.
But I thought that was a neat little thing to toss in there,
Yeah,
especially helping to give some connection to like Skywalker and Kenobi to Luke.
Yeah.
Who doesn't think there's any Jedi he's ever going to meet to help him learn anything.
I didn't write it down because I'm like, there's no way I'll forget that. But I forgot right now. Jancy and I had not too long ago watched the episode of Clone Wars where the Tals are on that like ice planet and the Pantorans are trying to like stop them or whatever.
Yeah.
That ice planet is the ice planet that the Rebellion are like around in the beginning of the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called right now, though.
They named it too. I don't remember the name for it. Whenever I remember,
but I heard it. I was like, "Oh, hey, I know that one. I won't forget that."
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't remember them saying the name, but whenever
Plutonia.
Whenever they said about it, I was like, "Oh, is this Hoth?"
Yeah,
like that's my first thought. I'm like, "Man, they went straight there, I guess." Huh?
No, it's the other ice planet you've seen.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, there's another little connection in there as well.
That's cool. Okay, so a couple Clone Wars like nods then. That's cool.
Which Clone Wars, came out while Legends was still a thing. Actually, when Clone Wars, as it was coming out, it was kind of like chipping away at the confidence people had, where it's like, we're just kind of like glossing over canon now with these new episodes.
Oh,
like Even Peel had
he had books.
he had like a very clear death, and then they just did a whole new death, and the Clone Wars stuff like that happened all the time. And then now we don't have to worry about that now because Clone Wars just kind of got put up to G level, or is G level canon. In the new canon, you don't have those issues anymore. But those issues were hard on the fandom back.
Is it G level because of George?
Yeah, I would say so.
And is it like, what's the next level down?
Well, I don't know about now. That used to be a thing in the old EU. There were levels of canon because things absolutely contradicted. And which one do you go with? It's like, well, there's a hierarchy of if it comes from a movie, it's gospel. It's G. Yeah,
it's
G
George.
Is gospel.
And then it's F.
Would go from there.
And then it's EU.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was very top down in that regard. But not to say that there's not contradictions or problems in the new canon, but it's far less common.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Like Shakti.
Yeah, like Shakti.
Yeah, how'd she die?
Yep.
I was upset because I wanted to hear. There was a part when was it Nakari? I think it was. Someone in the book was talking about like relationship to people in a band.
Oh yeah.
Like the Fruit Toodles or something like that.
The Fruit Toodles. They got
and they got like in trouble by Darth Vader because they sang a song. I was like, man, I want to hear the song, but it was called Vader's Mini Prosthetic Parts. And I was like, dude, is it like a Weird Al song about like, like what is this? I really wanted to hear what that song was and what it was about. Like, kind of made me think of Toad from the old Super Mario Brothers movie, right? Yeah. And he like gets arrested because he's singing like anti-Koopa songs.
Yeah, no, I mean that's one of the hallmarks of fascism is whenever authoritarians start coming down on expressions of art.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not good.
Yeah, I would want to hear that as well. They sent him to the Spice Mines of Kessel.
The Spice Mines of Kessel. I'm pretty
sure that's what they said. Yep.
That's
Taco
crazy.
Draslip and the Tootle Fruits.
The Tootle Fruits. That's what it was. Okay. Tootle Fruits. I don't even know what a Toot Fruitle is.
Right?
A Tootle Fruit is.
I'm trying to think of all the Star Wars bands I know. There's Figure and Dan and the Modal Nodes. What's the name of the parade music at the end of episode 1 has like a band name associated with that music. But
does it?
I can't think of it right now. But there are some decent.
The one you named was from the Cantina, right?
Yeah.
There's also a band, and I can't think what it's called, but in KOTOR there was a band that was similar to them, but it was named differently.
It was named something else. Yeah. Yeah, there's a decent amount out there. Yep, they were sent to the Spice Mines of Kessel days after the song released.
Oh man, what's this mean?
Oh, the real Red 5. That's a good point. He said, I'm a little bit behind, but in Andor, Skeen's brother had pepper trees that the Empire flooded. Now,
Oh.
despite the fact that he actually didn't have a brother, that was all a lie. I don't have a brother. Pepper trees are probably a thing because I mean, that's how you get lies in. You sandwich them between trees.
I wouldn't like, what's a pepper tree?
Yeah,
You never
doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have a brother. They shoot him. No, that doesn't happen. And of course, the Max Rebo band. Yeah, from episode 6.
Max Rebo band. Okay, yeah, Max Rebo.
Yep.
Okay, so pepper
So
trees.
ice noodles and
But
Max
once
Rebo
again,
band.
though, that may be more of like red peppers, green
Sure.
peppers, not like what you use to make like a black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Peppercorns, right? Funny enough, that is listed in Pepper's Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Star Wars Andor, The
The
Axe
Axe
Forgets. Okay.
I just rewatched that episode during vacation, or
Right.
that arc.
Oh, really?
Yep, I love that arc.
I also I always like hearing thoughts on the Jedi, especially after the events of Episode 3. One of my favorite things talking when we talked about the collector, the Force collector, was what people believe about the Jedi, especially after the events.
Definitely.
What was the other book we read? The other book we read was with Mon Mothma and like Bail Organa and him trying to find
what was it Mask of Fear? The Mask of Fear, something else.
that one had Bail like trying to prove that the Jedi were good and that the Emperor set them up and that they weren't, guilty of all this treason and stuff. And it kind of turned into like what will that get us and what will we gain?
Sure.
And I'm like, so that leads more into why people just, they didn't fight for it. And it makes sense why what's it going to do for me to fight for these people that are dead?
Yeah.
Right now, like we're being oppressed by the Empire. Here you get into the point of talking more about like, kind of the legend of the Jedi a little bit with Luke and some different people, whether it's Nakari or this Rodian with an Uncle Jedi or some different things.
Huluk was the Jedi's name.
Huluk.
That they just like, I knew your dad or something like that.
Yeah, he knew Skywalker.
Knew Skywalker.
Great
and
pilot.
Kenobi, yeah.
But I think it was with Nakari talking about like the information and like maybe the Jedi, like maybe there's a little bit where they were kind of bad, but they weren't strictly oath keepers and different things. But then they also kind of laugh a little bit about being like, wait, so you mean the stopping of information isn't good for us or whatever it was, like whether not all the information is being let out and no one knows really what's true because they're being fed what the Emperor wants them to be fed and stuff. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, it makes more sense, especially the further and further you go. Here we're 18, 19 years later, like looking into like, well, who are the Jedi as opposed to the, Force Collector wasn't, well, I guess Force Collector was further, right?
Yeah.
Closer, Return of the Jedi after Return of the Jedi,
That's
maybe
like
it was.
the Force Awakens era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was even further away. And then we have like Bail Organa and that like right after it happened.
Yeah.
So like we're just getting some different times of like where the legend is at as we kind of have different progressions of it. I find that to be interesting a little bit.
Very interesting.
Because me as a watcher, I'm like, the Jedi were good. Did you not? Did you look? Look what happened. Did you see? And it's like, well, yeah, but the Emperor got rid of information, and eventually people. It's a wide, wide galaxy. You can't know everything,
Well, I mean, they take control of the HoloNet, and they come down on journalists. So you would imagine there's probably a lot of information stored and videos that, like, it's harder in our world than it was 50 years ago because now everybody has a camera and can upload evidence and that type of thing, and it's harder to stamp down. But
that's
what you do now is you just flood everything with misinformation, and now no one can believe anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. And that's just one planet.
Yeah, that's just one.
Let alone trying to learn what happened on another planet that you've never been to or anything. Yeah. And the Chancellor started rising to power under legal terms and started slowly transitioning to the point that when he could become emperor, things had already kind of started swaying in his favor to begin with. So, so anyway, no, it's just interesting to watch and see.
Yeah. We got to have Major Bryn Durlin in here briefly as one of the rebels, and I'm always happy when he pops up because he is in The Empire Strikes Back. He's the guy that comes up to Leia and is like, there's nothing else we can do. We got to close these doors. And he's played by John Ratzenberger, who, if you've ever seen Cheers, he's in Cheers. He's the voice of Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story. So
is he the one who's in like every Pixar one?
I think so.
Is he the one?
He's in a lot of them.
Okay. I'm trying to pick. There's someone who's like in like almost every Pixar thing. He has a voice. Like he's like, "Welcome to the Himalayas," like in Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's also like,
a Pixar man. So yeah, it's him.
it's Pixar Man. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he had like 2 lines in Empire Strikes Back, and it's just anytime he pops up in anything, I just always like to, hey, it's him. You know.
That's cool. I didn't realize it was him in
That was
Empire.
him.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you find that out when you were doing all your trivia stuff? Like I gotta know every character.
Yeah.
in
Yeah. It's him.
that looks like him. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
absolutely him.
a lot younger, but yeah, that looks like
Yeah.
him. That's crazy. Brett Derlin. Okay.
Yep. No, that is in the Star Wars league that was a pretty common question actually. Anybody that had like a cameo when they were not famous and then got famous later, especially in Star Wars, really would show up in those trivia questions.
Sure, the one where it's like they weren't famous then, so like you may not have known. kind of
Julian
thing.
Glover as Veers in Empire Strikes Back is, he would go on to be in Indiana Jones and then Game of Thrones and stuff like that. So yeah, that would pop up as well. So it was cool to see Brent Derlin in there.
John Ratzenberger.
Mhm.
What was the Brett one?
Huh?
Oh, that's his name is Brett. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Brett Derlin
Brett
is the
Derlin.
character's name.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I see now. I don't know. I think that's most of the things I have. Like I said, most of this book, like I thought was fine. It wasn't like it's not my favorite book that we've read.
No.
Even with having Luke Skywalker in it, which I'm like, well, I like Luke Skywalker.
Mhm.
But it was nice to get a little bit in his head of like where he's at with some of this stuff, and
Sure.
Especially after the Death Star, like. He has a thing where he wants to prove himself, and there was like a conversation where it's like, well, you blew up the Death Star. Like,
Yeah.
how much bigger can you go? It's like, well, that's not what I mean. Like, I don't know how much control I really had in that moment. I want to be able to like do something more. So,
It was very much Luke on like the beginning of his journey is what it feels like.
yeah,
And going through we'll get into it, my list of Luke Skywalker moments, I don't have a lot that are from A New Hope, That's not really my favorite iteration of the character, but that's because he has an arc. He goes from this to this.
sure.
And you sometimes, you want to start out and he's going to be like a annoying farm kid in the beginning. And there was a little bit of the annoying farm kid in this, But as the book went on, I enjoyed what the book did for his character.
Sure.
But it couldn't do too much,
No, it really couldn't. And like that might be one of those things where it's like, well, if you ask me like, hey, what book should I read?
Yeah.
Like what one? Like I think there's other books that add more to characters or story or the galaxy and the lore than this one does.
From what I understand, the titled Star Wars comic that's just called Star Wars has a lot of Luke between 4 and 5 that is interesting to get to, but I don't want to read about it because we're probably going to get to it in a comic book video at some point.
Okay.
So we'll learn more about this version of Luke in those, but for now, that was Heir to the Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, Heir to the
Heir
Jedi.
to the Jedi.
Yeah, which was, I don't know, it was an okay name too.
Mhm.
The name I was thinking of more Jedi-ish stuff happening, but
I think I also got really excited when I heard that, and I was like, "Oh, Heir to the Empire! Okay,
Yeah. Ooh,
that's
what
a
are we
high
doing
bar." But
what are we gonna do with this one? And it's like, oh, okay, well, all right, that's where we're at.
Yep.